Alright, hello guys. Today we're back with math module from the SAT Digital Practice Test number 5. And we're going to work through this. Okay, so let's get started. The graph of a system of linear equation and a nonlinear equation is shown below. What's the solution xy? Well, the solution is the intersection point, and that's right there at point 4, 5, and that's choice C. Okay. Next question. On the first day of a semester, a film club has 90 members. Each day after the first day of the semester, 10 new members join the club. If no members leave the film club, how many members will the film club have 4 days after the first day of the semester? Alright, so we have 90 members initially, and each day after the first day, we get 10 new. Right, so, and 4 days have passed, so that's 90 plus 10 times 4. That's 130. So, B. Okay. Alright, number 3. The graph of the linear function f is shown where y equals f of x. What's the y-intercept? The graph of f. The y-intercept is where the line intersects the y-axis, and that's at 0,8 right there. Let's see. D's are answer, and we move on. Alright. What's the solution Rs to the given system of equations? Well, we have a pretty basic substitution to make. So R is 3, right? So we can immediately rule out A because R is 6 there. And we can immediately rule out D because R is 27. Right, now it's time for our substitution. So S plus 7 times 3, which is R, is 27. 7 times 3 is 21, and 27 minus 21 is 6. So S is 6. So B is our answer there. Okay, number 5. The table shows the selected values from function f. Which of the following is the best description of the function f? So, okay, so over consecutive intervals of x of length 1, so it's plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, our change in y is constant. It's plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So it's a linear equation, so it's not exponential. And because the slope is 1 over 1, which is 1, our function is increasing. Number 6, the graph of a system of a linear equation is shown. The solution to the system is xy. What's the value of x? Okay, again, the solution here is the intersection point of the two lines, and our x value is 4. So that's our answer. So there's the intersection point. It's at 4, 1. So our x value there is 4. Okay. Let's go further down. Okay. What's the range of the 7 scores shown below? So range is the maximum value minus the minimum value in a data set. Our maximum value, our greatest value is 52. So it's equal to 52 minus, and our lowest value is 23. 52 minus 23 is 29, and that's our range. Okay. Next question. In the figure, line M is parallel to line N, and line K is the transversal, because it intersects both lines, okay? Which of the following statements is true? Okay, so line K is our transversal. So this is a transversal. Okay. So we can apply the properties we know when two parallel lines and a transversal that intersect them both exist. So which of the following statements is true? Okay, so all of these statements involve x. So let's find the measure of angle x. Well, by the vertical angle theorem, angle x is 145 degrees. Let's see. So our answer is C. Angle x is 145 degrees. And we move on. Let's see. Number 9. The equation x plus y equals 1440 represents the number of minutes of daylight between sunrise and sunset, x, and the number of minutes of non-daylight, y. On a particular day in Oak Park, Illinois, if this day has 670 minutes of daylight. How many minutes of non-daylight does it have? Hold on. Alright, so basically telling us in the last sentence that our x value is 670. So 670 plus y is equal to 1440. Alright, and now you just have to subtract y equals 1440 minus 670, right, which is equal to 770, and that's our answer. Okay, next question. Scott selected 20 employees at random from all 400 employees at a company. He found that 16 of the employees in the sample are enrolled in exactly 3 professional development courses this year. Based on Scott's findings, which of the following is the best estimate of the number of employees at the company who are enrolled in exactly 3 professional development courses this year? Okay, so this is a proportion. So Scott surveyed 20 people, out of which 16 met the criteria, or met the criteria he was measuring. And then we have our total population of 400. So now we want to know what the expected value of the number of people who took 3 courses is, right? So I'm going to call this x. So we know 16 times 400 is equal to 20x. Divide both sides by 20. Alright, 20. We get x is equal to 16 times 20, which is 320. That's our answer. Alright, number 11. If 4x minus 28 is equal to negative 24, what is the value of x minus 7? Well, if you divide both sides by 4, you get x minus 7 is equal to negative 6. Okay, next question. For a snowstorm in a certain town, the minimum rate of snowfall recorded was 0.6 inches per hour, and the maximum rate of snowfall recorded was 1.8 inches per hour. Which inequality is true for all values of s, where s represents a rate of snowfall in inches per hour recorded for the snowstorm? Okay, so the minimum was 0.6. So the rate of snowfall s, it has to be bigger than or equal to 0.6. Right, and 1.8 was the maximum. So 1.8 is greater than or equal to s. Combining the two inequalities, you get D. Alright, number 13. A solution to the given system is xy where x is greater than 0. What's the value of x? Well, we have 2 equations for y in the same variable. So we can put them equal to each other. So we know 4x is equal to x squared minus 12. Right. Subtract 4x, you get 0 is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 12. We can factor this as x minus 6 times x plus 2. So x can be 6 or negative 2. Alright. But we want a solution where x is greater than 0, so x is 6. Okay, let's move on. A store sells 2 different size containers of blueberries. The store sales of these blueberries totaled $896.86 last month. The equation 4.15x plus 6.07y equals 896.86 represents the situation where x is the number of smaller containers and y is the number of larger containers sold. According to the equation, what is the price in dollars for each smaller container? Well, we just look at the coefficient of the x term, and in that case, the unit price of the small container is $4.51. A right circular cylinder has a base diameter of 22 centimeters and a height of 6 centimeters. What's the volume in cubic centimeters of the cylinder? So the formula for the volume of the cylinder C is just equal to BH, where B is the area of the base and H is the height. We know the height, 6 cm, right? but we don't know what b is. Well, we know the base is a circle with a diameter of 22 centimeters. So the base's area will be equal to 22 divided by 2, which is the radius, squared pi. So the base is equal to 121 pi centimeters squared. That's the area. Multiplying the two, we get the volume is 726 pi centimeters cubed. Okay, next question. Alright, the graph of the rational function f is shown where y equals f of x. Okay, cool. And x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Which of the following is the graph of y equals 5x plus 5? Not 5x. Y equals f of x plus 5. Okay, so this means f of x plus 5, it means that f of x was shifted up 5. Right. Whenever we add a constant to the end of a function, we're translating it by that amount, up or down, depending on the sign. Here we're shifting it up 5. Right? This looks like it's been shifted down 5, so it's not A. Not this. It's not B either, because at x equals 10, y is approximately equal to 1. So that point right there is about 10, 1. So we're looking for a graph with the point 10, 5 on it, ideally. Something like that. Okay. Here, in graph D, we have something. It's about 6. So that meets our criteria. Because our original point was 10, 1, right? And we wanted to shift it up 5. So the new point should be at around 10, 6. So these are answering and we move on. At a particular track meet, the ratio of coaches to athletes is 1 to 26. Okay, if there are X coaches at the track meet, which of the following expresses the number of athletes at the track meet? Okay. So our ratio of coaches to athletes is 1 to 26. Right. And we know that there's X coaches. But we don't know how many athletes there are. So when we cross multiply, we get 26x is equal to the quantity we want. And that's B. Kalyani uses fabric measuring 5 yards in length to make each suit for a men's choir. The relationship between the number of suits that Kalyani made, X, and the total length of fabric that she purchased, Y, in yards is represented by Y minus 5X equals 6. What is the best representation of 6 in this context? Okay, so if we move the 5x to the other side, we get y equals 5x plus 6. Yeah. Now this plus 6 is an extra 6 yards that she purchased and that she didn't use. So that's not A. Does not mean A, right? It means D. She purchased 6 yards more fabric than she needed. Okay, next question. Alright, number 19. What's the value of tangent of 92 pi over 3? Now, we can simplify this. So tangent 92 pi over 3, right? The period of the tangent function is pi. So we can subtract a multiple of pi from this to get a value that is less than a pi. So tangent of 92 pi over 3 is actually equal to tangent of 2 pi over 3. Right? Based on that. So we just need to find the tangent of 2 pi over 3. Now that's equal to sine of 2 pi over 3 divided by the cosine of 2 pi over 3. Now, the sine of 2 pi over 3 is root 3 over 2. Right. The cosine of 2 pi over 3 is equal to negative a half. So our final answer is negative root 3. And we move on to the next question. Okay, we have a figure, and we want to find the cosine of the angle given. So what we do is, first we find the side length of the missing side, right? So this is our missing side length x, and this is a right triangle, so we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So we know 11 squared plus x squared has to equal 28 squared, right? So x squared is equal to 28 squared minus 11 squared, which is, let me calculate that. 28 squared minus 11 squared is 663, right? 663. So x will be equal to, so what are the factors? So this part is equal to 39 times 14. Well, no, not 14. Hold up. Times 17. So we don't have any squares in its prime factorization. So x is just equal to the square root of 663. Right? So I'm going to write that down. So that's equal to the square root of 663. And the cosine of x will just be equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So 11 over 28. Well, look at that. We don't even need to find the missing side length. But I did it just in case we needed it, which is good practice. Alright, number 21. The function g is defined by g of x is equal to x plus 14 times t minus x, where g is a constant, and the xy plane in the graph of y equals g of x passes the point 24, 0. What is the value of g of 0? Okay, so let's substitute the x value here. So g of x, which is y, is 0 when x is 24. So when we plug in x equals 24, we get 24 plus 14 times t minus 24. This is equal to 38 times t minus 24, which is equal to 0. So here it's clear that t has to be 24. Right. So we know t is 24. Right. So g of x is equal to x plus 14 times 24 minus x. So g of 0 is just equal to 14 times 24, which is 336. That's our answer, okay. Alright, number 22. The graph of the given equation is a circle, and the xy plane, the point AB lies on the circle. Which of the following is a possible value for A? Okay. Let's define the circle. So our circle center is at -4, 19. So that's our center, and its radius is 11. Right. And we want to know the fact that the point AB lies on the circle. Which of the following is a possible value for A? So if we visualize this, hold on. Let me draw a circle right here. Okay, that's the center point. So that point is at -4, 19. And this radius is 11. Alright, so which of the following is a possible value for A, which lies on the circle? Right. So we want an A value that when plugged in, does not exceed 121. So when we plug in A plus 4 squared can't be more. It has to be, let's see. So when we plug in, right, when we plug in A plus 4 squared has to be less than or equal to 121. Right, and now we should have to find out which of these values satisfy that. When we plug in -16, A plus 4 all squared will be 144. That's too big. When we plug in -14, we get 100. That checks out. When we plug in 11, we get 225. This is too big, and 19 is definitely too big, so B is our answer. Alright, number 23. A right rectangular prism has a height of 9 inches. The length of the prism's base is x inches, which is 7 inches more than the width of the prism's base. Which of the following functions gives the volume of the prism? Okay. So we know volume is equal to length times width times height. We know the height, it's 9 inches. And we know the length, which is x inches. So we have a factor of 9x, so we can immediately rule out A and B. Right? And we're given the length of the prism's base is x inches, which is 7 inches more than the width of the prism's base. So the length is 7 inches more than the width. So the width has to be 7 less than the length, which is x minus 7. And D matches our function. Okay. Number 24. Which of the following functions have a minimum value at -3? Okay. This is a decreasing exponential function. This is a decreasing exponential function, right? So it has so it does not have a minimum value. So there is no minimum value here. Right? And again, this also is a decreasing. 2 is also a decreasing exponential function. So it does not have a minimum value. So it's neither. Right. And we can make sure in this we can graph this. I'm pretty sure graphing calculators are allowed throughout the math test. So we can graph both functions. So let's see. We can graph the first function. It does not have a minimum value. It just keeps going down to negative infinity. And let's graph the second function, negative 3 times 6 to the x. Yep, that also keeps going down to negative infinity, so they don't have minimum values. Okay. Number 25, the result of increasing the quantity x by 400% is 60. What's the value of x? Right. So an increase of 400%. You're taking x, and then you're adding a 400% increase to it. And that's equal to 60. Now, 400% of something is just 4 times something. So x plus 4x is equal to 60. And when you solve, you get x is equal to 12. It's A. Alright, number 26. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to x squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are constant. The graph of y equals f of x, and the xy plane passes through the points 7, 0, and negative 3, 0. If a is an integer greater than 1, which of the following could be the value of a plus b? Right? Okay. So we know our zeros. Our zeros are at x equals 7 and x equals negative 3. So our function will be of the form a times x minus 7 times x plus 3. Right? Let me bring that up here. So our function will be of the form a times x minus 7 times x plus 3. And when we multiply this out, we get a times x squared minus 4x plus 21. Right? And when we're given that a is an integer greater than 1, and we want to know the value of the coefficients a and b. So the coefficient of the ax squared term is just a. The coefficient of the bx term is negative 4a when we multiply everything out. So we have negative 3a as the sum of the two coefficients. So we know that if a is an integer greater than 1, the sum has to be negative. So we can rule out c and d, and we can rule out b as well, because that only happens when a is 1. And we know that a is an integer greater than 1. So a is our only answer, and that works when a is 2. Right, next question. Okay. Function g is defined by g of x is equal to x times x minus 2 times x plus 6 all squared. The value of g of 7 minus w is 0, where w is a constant. What is the sum of all possible values of w? Okay, so 7 minus w can equal the zeros of g of x. So 7 minus w can equal 0, can equal 2, and it can equal negative 6. Right? So if 7 minus w equals 0, w equals 7. If 7 minus w equals 2, w equals 5. And if 7 minus w equals negative 6, well, w equals 13. And if we add all the values together, the sum of all possible values of w is 25. Right? Let's make sure. 13. 5 and 7. Yep, okay, good. Alright, and that's the end of Module 1, you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll get back to Module 2 in the next video.